And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that brutal OST because we have returned with our next series with our next round of 16 match. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta, we have our red Zerg player from the land of Belarus. It is representing Team Platoon, NIkich. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player representing Shopify Rebellion from the land of the Netherlands. It is Harstem. Here we go. The decade of Harstem, exactly. Every year is the hashtag year of Harstem, and I want to believe that he can go for a deep run here. He already surpassed his previous nemesis. He was able to get his revenge against GG Machine, but how does he compare? How does he compare against a player like NIkich? Again, NIkich, I would say, is the next level up from GG Machine, so I am concerned here. If Harstem was struggling against GG Machine, how will he compare it against NIkich? I have to give the edge to NIkich a little bit, despite the fact that he is a lesser known player. We'll see, though. We'll see how Harstem can fight back, as he is going for a gate expand. Gate expand out of our Protoss player, standard opener so far. I mentioned before that Harstem, he is willing to be creative, and he's willing to deviate from the norm. Not the most standard of Protoss players in this matchup, so I look forward to seeing what Harstem does decide to whip out here in PvZ, in Game 1. But now NIkich going for his hatch gas pull. When it comes to NIkich as a player, we have been casting a lot more of him recently, and he's a very aggressive Zerg player, especially in the mid game. NIkich, he thrives in the mid game. He can play late game, but he can struggle a little bit more in that scenario. He's much more in form and much more comfortable on 3 bases. 66 workers, up to 70 drones, for example, focusing on Lingbane, Roach Ravager, or Hydra rushing. NIkich, he can thrive in that kind of scenario, as Harstem is going for a Stargate opener. Standard opener here out of Harstem. Stargate into Oracle into a 3rd base seems to be the game plan here from our Protoss. Let us go. Seems to be, at least. Meanwhile, for those that were wondering, while we were waiting for Harstem and NIkich to get their videos going, I did get some dinner. Did get some food. I was able to eat some sushi and some prawn tempura. Give me all the prawns, baby. Gibch. As our adepts get across the map, we're going to be waiting for reinforcing adepts here. 2 adepts, of course, one-shot drones, so they do pose quite a threat to NIkich. They do pose quite a threat, and we'll see how much damage we can get done, if anything, as we do threaten Shades once again. This time we will commit. Good reaction here at NIkich. Does pull back. Doesn't lose any drones yet. Only losing one of his Lings. Once again, pulling those drones back here to the safety, oh god, of the Lings. 1 drone goes down, but losing only 1 worker so far. Pretty good defense. Pretty good defense from our Zerg player. Able to minimize his losses, maintain his position, and creep is spreading. And Harstem is going for that Oracle. First Oracle is out, 2nd Oracle is on the way, 3rd base has been thrown down. And we'll see what Harstem can get done as he does commit, gets 2 drones, takes a lot of hull damage, but does escape getting that 2 worker kills. Getting those 2 worker kills. As I believe the Adepts did race back home. Yep, the Adepts are shaded all the way back home. They're in position to protect this 3rd base. And the 2nd Oracle is en route. It's going to be meeting up with the 1st, 3rd Oracle behind this. Triple Oracle is very standard in today's meta. Triple Oracle into a 3rd, into a Forge and Twilight Council. Now, we can see this Twilight Council on its own. If this was any other player, I would be screaming Glaive Adepts, but Harstem specifically is very stylistic, is very iconic. He's going to get 3 drones, but he usually delays his Forge and still invests into Blink. It's a very Harstem thing to do. It's typically how he does approach this. But again, did get 3 drones in that drive-by. Adepts are moving out. With the Fire Council finishing, We should be soon working on that upgrade. There it is. Blink is on the way. Again, without a Forge, any other player I would be talking about Glaives, but Harstem specifically, he does enjoy delaying his Forge, focusing on getting additional gateways up and running, building up his Stalker count, being aggressive first, and hitting a later +1 timing. Ooh, as there is no Spore. No Spore at the third. No, there is a Spore at the natural, but a little bit further back. We will get a kill on one of those Oracles, but damage was done. Adepts a shade in. They force a recall back home. Overall, though, 12 worker kills for one Oracle. Worth it for Harstem. Very much so. Good damage dealt here from our Protoss player. He's racing back home. Lings are going for a counterattack. And how is our third base looking? We have Adepts, but where's the shield battery? Uh-oh. Shield battery not quite done, not yet. So we do get a probe kill. We could have committed a little bit harder, I feel, but NIkich will back off. We'll retreat. And to do shave off a couple of those Lings. There we go. Harstem is going to be pushing. Remember, no +1 with this. Usually there is, but there's that Forge now on the way. It is quite delayed. The Harstem's preferred way of playing this out. And as a result, you can apply that much more pressure here to this hatchery. Overlord will fall. 30 Lings are on the way, but they're not ready yet. Uh-oh. And this hatchery is taking a lot of damage. Lings just buying time. Queens have arrived. We're going for a surround. We force out the blink from Harstem. Oracles activate their pulse beams, so we're going to be able to clean this up. Big overextension. Harstem going to be losing all of his Stalkers. Ay. Stuck around a little bit too long. It did overextend. Every Stalker goes down. That was how many? 10 Stalkers. Expensive losses. And where is that shield battery? It's not here. Now, NIkich is going to back off. He's actually droning and working towards Hydras. So he's going to be going Ling Hydra, focusing on saturating his bases. Adept shade in, but there's no way out. Adept will be shut down. And NIkich, he's looking to be in the driver's seat. Is what I would say. I do think that NIkich can deny this fourth. If he doesn't, Harstem can still stabilize. But the Lings, they have arrived. They get eyes on the fourth base, and they do get a surround. Uh-oh, this could be a kill. Alas, we respect those Zealots. Charge is not done, but we do have the Oracles at least, and Harstem, he does hold on to this fourth base. This is a big win for Harstem. If the Lings had gone here earlier, we should have been able to deny this Nexus. But again, they were distracted by the Adepts. Charge dot Archon on the way. Charge hasn't started yet. Hopefully it starts soon. As the Bailey Nest is now on the way, NIkich is trying to get an eye on other expansions. Getting ready for a run-by. Prism towards the main. Archon's here towards the south. Charge just now starting. Meanwhile, NIkich, it looks like he wants to work towards, I imagine, Lurkers. As we have an Infestation bit for Hive Tech, for eventually Lurker Tech as well. Meanwhile, Harstem pushing onto creep. We have Zealous towards the north, the main army here towards the south. NIkich doesn't really have much to work with, though. Uh-oh. There we go. It looks like, can he save his base? No, he can't. That's going to be a kill. A kill in the hatchery. 300 minerals down the drain. The main army can't quite push in. But NIkich, he is being spread thin here. And now we're on even bases. Harstem, he has a better economy. He's fully walling up. He's turtling up. Again, earlier Harstem was vulnerable, but no longer. He's not vulnerable anymore. And it feels like this Hive Tech is late from NIkich. There it is. Lurker Gen is on the way. Hive soon to be halfway done. Soon to be halfway done here. And Harstem, he's freely expanding like there's nothing threatening him. NIkich should have had map control, but again, without denying that fourth base, he doesn't have as much momentum as he otherwise should have had. Rocks are being knocked down. Harstem spinning up his army. He's got a Zealot run by being set up here towards the south, and there's no sag defense here, so this base is very vulnerable. We have the Prism threatening the north, and we have the main army pushing towards the fourth base. And NIkich, I don't know if he has enough to defend. If he had Lurkers, that'd be another story. Lurker Den is done, but we have 0 Lurkers. But the Lings, they do collapse here on the army. They get on top of some of the High Templar. Big storms here on the Hydras. They do graze. Some of them are much better storm here. Oh my god. Getting so much damage done. Meanwhile, Zealots into the main. Zealots towards the south. The main army doing its job here, distracting the forces of NIkich. And NIkich is being pulled apart. Aye, that's going to be 14 dead workers that kill in the hatchery. NIkich, he had a really good moment earlier this game, but he just wasn't able to capitalize. And now Harstem, he's gotten away with murder. He breaks on through, cleans up all the Hydras. Even with these Immortals going down, the Zealots on their own are doing so much. GG gets called. Harstem will take game number 1. GG. Again, there was a brutal moment where Harstem lost all of his Stalkers. That was a rough moment for Harstem. But if you remember, NIkich didn't do anything with it. He wasn't able to... I mean, if you remember, there was no shield battery at the third. If he wanted to, he could have gone for worker kills. He could have killed probes. He could have denied the fourth base. He did neither. He didn't deny the fourth. He didn't kill any workers. He rested on his laurels a little bit too long there. And Harstem was able to take full advantage of NIkich. Able to stabilize. Able to get away with it. And now we're getting into game 2. Now we're getting into game number 2. And Harstem needs one more here to advance on to face off against his, not just teammate, but friend, Lambo. Lambo is waiting in the next round. Will those two European Titans collide? Or can NIkich cause an upset? Can he throw a wrench in the works? Can he bring Harstem down? We'll see if he can. Again, it's one of those things where if you do see an opportunity, if you do have an advantage or, again, an opportunity available to you, you have to go for it. You have to take it. Something that NIkich just wasn't able to do in that last game. We'll see if he can make up for it here in game 2. Let's go. Let us go. Meanwhile, we have some other updates coming in. It looks like Spirit did take down Fion 2-0. Meanwhile, MaxPax took down Battle B, but oh my, Battle B took MaxPax to the ace match. Very nicely done. Battle B, Bapi. Taking a game over MaxPax, impressive. MaxPax already bleeding, already showing that he is mortal and that this tournament is not a sure thing for MaxPax whatsoever. So we'll see if other players can continue to make him bleed. We'll see. As we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione, we have the red Zerg player representing Team Platoon. It is NIkich. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as well, we have the blue Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. Uno mas, one more is all he needs. It is Harstem. Here we go. But when it comes to updates here, we have MaxPax taking down Battle B 2-1, as you did mention. We also have Mana versus Mixu that has begun. I know that Steadfast finished his series and he's joining us, so I don't know what series he was casting. I think he was following Wayne. I think he cast... Oh, no, actually, that wouldn't make sense. Otherwise, he would be in Wayne versus MaxPax. There better be someone casting Wayne versus MaxPax because that looks like a spicy series and that looks amazing. So someone better be there. Meanwhile, I know that Rotterdam is out there. I think he was casting Spirit versus Fiant. That would make sense. I don't know where he is now. I'm not too certain what he is caught. Let me just double check. Christiana versus Geralt, PvP. Okay. That's unfortunate. That means I don't think there's any English coverage of MaxPax versus Wayne. Hopefully there is some other language caster, maybe like a Spanish caster or a Brazilian caster or like a Polish caster. Hopefully someone is casting that because it deserves to be casted. Meanwhile, we're getting into this. It's going to be a gate expand here. We have our tech of choice, going to be a Stargate opener once again from Harstem. Meanwhile, NIkich going for a hatch gas pool, this time able to take his natural, without any issues, without any problems, is able to expand freely. Let's go. Third base is on the way. Likewise, Harstem with the Stargate opener should be working towards oracles, into triple oracle, into a third base. We should be seeing pretty similar openers to game 1. We'll see if Harstem can achieve some more drone damage. We'll see if NIkich can tighten up his defenses and minimize his losses. We shall see. We go. As there we go. The first oracle is in production. Already halfway done, as I did mention. Should be committing here to oracle production. As the Adept is going to be threading a shade, keeping an eye on things, keeping an eye on the drone count, on the amount of lings. Going to be meeting up with the second Adept momentarily, I imagine. Oh, no, actually keeping the second Adept back at home. I think this is a wise choice, specifically on Alcyone, because the rush distance by ground is so large. If Harstem does lose the Adepts, this third base is so vulnerable, as it is being taken, and Adepts are soon to be getting in position. So Harstem taking a more passive approach here in game 2. Being more reserved with his unit control. Adepts getting in position. Second Oracle has arrived. Third Oracle's on the way. And 2 Oracles, of course, can one-shot drones. Now, this time, if you remember, NIkich did skip out on spores in game 1. Here in game number 2, we have a spore in the main, a spore in the natural, no spore at the third. And the third base is vulnerable here. It is exposed. 3 drones go down, and we're not done. We're going to make our way towards the natural. We get another 2 more drones, 3 more. 7 in total. Ay, ay, ay. 7 workers will be going down. A solid drive-by there by Harstem. Keeps all of his oracles alive. And he's not done because we have a full HP, full energy oracle joining the fray. Behind this, Twilight Council, Forge, and a Robo. All 3 tech structures thrown down. This should be +1 and Blink. But we are on 4 gases, so yeah, should be Blink coming up next. Oracles, they find another 4 drones. Oh my god. As the Oracle escapes barely with 4 HP. Very nicely done. Oracle gets away. And we should soon see our upgrades of choice here. It's going to be +1 and Charge, not Blink, as we have a Temple Archives on the way. Charge in production here for Harstem. Harstem going to be saturating his natural, saturating his third. Taking a very different approach in the mid-game to Alcyone. But again, he bypasses the Queen's. The Spore still isn't done. The Oracles, they get in, they get 1 more drone kill for a bit of hull damage. They will manage to float away, to fly away. And I'm afraid to look at the unit soul stab here, but look at the efficiency, look at the trades of Harstem. Again, he was showing a bit of weakness in game 1, but here in game number 2, hasn't lost a single unit here. Again, he was more reserved with his Adepts, he was still adventurous with the Oracles, opportunistic, and he does get 12 worker kills, 10 lings, and now we're building up towards the eventual ground push. But now going to be taking control of the Zonaga. 4th base is being taken by NIkich. NIkich doesn't have the Zonaga, doesn't see the army coming until now. Now he sees, but NIkich, he has been droning. He's down in army supply. Ay, ay, ay. He does not have a Roach Warren, does not have a Baleen Nest. Baleen Nest just now finished, and he's in a lot of trouble. NIkich, he's in a lot of trouble. He's skipping out on that tech. So vulnerable. We dive on top of the Queens. Baleens are still on the way. And Harstem, he's snowballing out of control, collapses on these Queens. Baleens are finishing though. They do finish just in time. Decent connections on these Zealots, but it's not going to be enough. Or is it? Oh, just barely. The Zealots are going down. We have a wave of reinforcements. Archons are being forced back. Can we kill the Queens? We can. 1, 2 queens go down, a third queen as well. We do lose an oracle, but worth it here as we break through the defenses. We break into the mineral line. 10 drones have fallen. Ling's gonna be able to clean up one of the... Oh, never mind. Reinforcements arrive. The Archon lives. Somehow barely does live. With barely any shields. Both of them do. And with that, Harstem, he's done more than enough. He has broken the back of NIkich. He's broken the third, pushing towards the fourth, which is mining. But only momentarily, because soon it's going to be shut down. Lings, they try to catch some reinforcements, but so far, good juggling out of Harstem. And again, he's snowballing out of control. He gets on top of the queen. Gets into the mineral line. And NIkich just doesn't have enough to deal with this. Again, was playing Ling Bane. No roaches, late Bailey Nest. No scouting either. He did not have the Zolnaga. Didn't see it coming ahead of time. We're going for a desperation Ling run by. But Harstem, he's not turning back around. We keep on pushing. Decent Bailey connections on some of those Zealots, but there's still too much, Papi. Still far too much. Lings, they get 4 probes across the map. Roaches have finally arrived, but it may just be too little too late because NIkich, he's down to 2 hatcheries. Down to 4 roaches. GG gets called. Harstem will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. Let's go. GG, well played. Harstem does take the series. He did struggle a little bit in game number 1. There were definitely opportunities, and I could have definitely seen an ace match, especially if NIkich had, again, taken advantage of his opportunities in game 1. But here in game 2, a much cleaner game out of Harstem. Doesn't lose anything in the early game, leading into the eventual push. And NIkich misreading the situation, assuming that it was going to be Blinkstalkers, assuming he would get away with, cutting corners and being a little bit greedy, and he was caught with his pants down. NIkich goes down 0-2, and Harstem advances on. GG, well played. And Harstem already has his next opponent. We spoke about it. Harstem up next is going up against Lambo. Harstem versus Lambo in the quarterfinals. The tournament is progressing, and we will be getting ready for that PvZ coming up next. Videos are going to be underway, so we're going to be going on a short break. Going to be going on a short break here. When we return, Harstem versus Lambo is going to be coming at you. See you soon.